Welcome fellow YouTubers, today I'll be reviewing an arcade game that I discovered in my early high school years, X-Men Children of the Atom. Released in arcades only 3 years after Street Fighter II hit it big before being ported to the Sega Saturn, PC, and PlayStation between 1995 and 98, Children of the Atom takes the beloved Marvel Comics characters and places them in a Street Fighter-esque one-on-one slugfest. Apparently taking its cue from the X-Men storyline Fatal Attractions, the game not only puts you in control of a small cadre of the titular heroes, but also a few villains, all of whom have their own reasons for wanting to take down the Master of Magnetism himself, Magneto, including the mutant hunting Sentinel, the Silver Samurai, Omega Red, and the six-armed vixen Spiral. As I mentioned before, the controls for this game are more or less the same as those found in Street Fighter II and almost all other Capcom fighting games. 3 punch buttons and matching kick buttons are yours to command, and by using them in conjunction with the joystick, you can perform various special moves that fill up the energy meter below your health meter. This in turn allows you to up the ante just that little bit and dish out some real damage with a Hyper X attack. I should also note that there are some very drastic differences between this game and the Marvel vs. Capcom series that it spawned. For example, Wolverine's Berserker Barrage is strictly a Hyper X attack as opposed to a standard special attack, and Cyclops is missing a few of the moves that he could perform in the later games, such as his Cyclone Kick. In regards to the graphics, they were great back in the day and they still hold up well even after over a decade, although the character sprites in this game move substantially slower in comparison to the Marvel vs. Capcom games, and as a result, combo attacks are a little more difficult to pull off. The backgrounds are fairly well rendered, with Cyclops' Danger Room stage really standing out thanks to the constantly changing surroundings. Despite being composed using the now defunct Q-Sound technology, the background tracks are very nicely done and fit each character wonderfully. Another high point to the soundtrack is the fact that most of the characters in the game are voiced by the actors that played them on the classic X-Men cartoon that was airing at the time. As always, however, the game has a few things that really bug the crap out of me. First off is the distinct lack of pre- and post-battle voice samples. When going into battle with, say, Wolverine, you'd expect him to say something like,
"Let's go, bub."
But no, he's just silent, as are many of the other characters. I can only imagine that this was done due to space limitations. Secondly, fighting against the sub-bosses Juggernaut and Magneto will cost you big time if you're careless, because, since they're boss characters, all of their attacks deal ridiculous amounts of damage. When all's said and done, Children of the Atom is a very well done game. It's not the absolute best of Capcom's 2D fighters, but it's a very good game in its own particular way, and it sets a standard that is massively improved upon in the Marvel vs. Capcom games.